On Saturday, the Penrhys Partnership launched a people's history of the Penrhys estate. Local people turned up to tell their stories. A new sculpture was also unveiled, along with some accompanying gargoyles. Here are people's stories. They're very moving, and they tell the history of Penrhys.
Play that.
We had to process up from our church. Its current name is Our Lady of Penrhys, but in years gone by it was known as St Mary's. And we went right the way up to the shrine, and 5 of us, who were the altar boys, you don't realise how marvellous it was, because the crowds were lined up all along the route up to Penrhys. And some of them, many of them, joined in. They may not have been Catholics, but they just followed on, and it was so exciting. The crowds that were there, literally a couple of thousand people, were there for the first time. That was 60 years ago. We were right down the altar servers. Good old times.
Next door to say, this sticks in my mind that there'd been loads of funny times, but I remember most is the one of my next door neighbour, Betty, God rest her soul. She was like a mother to me. She was a fantastic person. When Prince Charles came up to visit, I'm not sure then if she'd had her leg amputated, but I know she was in the wheelchair. And she wasn't really up to it anyway. We seen Prince Charles and he went into this lady's house, Sybil, I think her name was. Well, of course, her being one of the oldest residents up here, she didn't think it was right that he was going into Sybil's house, and of course, she reckoned that she should have met him. So she went off with one of her hoolies, and Eva, I think you know what one of her hoolies was said. Well, anyway, her 2 daughters, Anne and Susan, said, right, you can have her, you sort it out. Oh, I thought, oh God, here we go then. So I said, come on, Beck, what's wrong with me being the oldest resident? I think I was entitled to meet him. Take me home amongst a few choice words, she said. So I thought, oh no. So we buy the fish shop, and I thought, oh, yes, I like it. So I went on to a policeman and I said, excuse me, sir, my mother would like to meet Prince Charles, and she's playing hell with me over this. And he said, hang on a minute. And Prince Charles was coming from Sybil's house across by the centre, and the policeman, he sort of pushed her in and he said to him, this lady would like to meet you. So he pushed me and Betty forward. Well, her face, lover, her face was a picture. She shook his hand and she welcomed him in Welsh. Her face, to see the expression of get me home at 1 minute and meeting him at the next minute. Then she had a conversation with him in Welsh. And that stuck in my mind well, since that day anyway.
I went to the shop when it was in the community centre and I bought the wrong reader. After reading one article, I went straight to John and asked him to look at it. It described how there were houses on Penrhys that were earmarked to be demolished. We were in the church cafe at the time, and there was one lady there whose house was on the list, and she did not know anything about it. She was so upset and crying.
I've enjoyed living here, even with all the ups and downs that have happened over the years. It's still a close-knit community. I remember a visitor saying some years ago, and I think this is true, it's like living in a goldfish bowl, because everybody knows everyone else, and sometimes, well, it has its advantages and disadvantages, everybody knowing everybody else, but I like living here. I get really annoyed when I hear negative things being said about Penrhys, and I try to put them straight. It's a good place.
Town Assembly member for the Rhondda Valley.